Okay, I think we're good. Alright. Starting with Chersith's. Like 10 FPS, but that's okay. Ooh, choosing skins. Should choose the best skin to camouflage yourself in the map. Confused. No bully. You're the one that signed up for this. Oh, me.
Commences in 30 seconds.
I'll be busy soon enough.
Oh, are you practicing the thing? I actually don't know. Whoa, are you flaming? Wow. Okay, you're not flaming. Wow. Chersith is toxic, dude. Okay, so what do we got? I saw a Doomfist, a McCree. Okay, so you should try to learn the CSGO shield that I do here all the time. Because if they have an Orisa, the only way that you're going to win, or at least equalize a shield battle, is to have a shield fall from the sky, so that way you could have 2 shields. Because right now, Orisa, their Orisa, has this shield and the shield in her pocket, right? So you're only going to have your shield, it's going to break too fast, then you won't have anything, and you're either going to have to force or fortify, which means that you won't be able to make an aggressive push, or, you know, it'll just get bad. You know how? You forgot how, I see. You're spacey in this game. You say so. You can also do this, like what you're doing. It gives you a bit of extra time. Oh, they're on May.
Who wants to dive them?
Wow, just dive, huh? Okay, so when they're on May, you didn't really like go through the choke, so you had a way to get out, kinda, but it wasn't great. Like, let's see this again. You got pulled down in front of the ice wall, but you just moved straight back. I don't know if you were aware that there was an ice wall. You said you weren't paying a lot of attention, but you could have tried to walk away with fortify while you still had time. But that halt put you in front of the wall. You're on top of it. The only thing you could really do if you know you're against May is to let yourself get walled, fortify, and shield yourself, and hopefully try to get your team to break the wall while you turn around and also break the wall. You did have fortify. You were fortified at that time. That's pretty good. No one got divided here. No, I would save the ammo. Save the ammo here. When ice wall goes up here, your team is not going to be able to kill this wall in time. By the time that you do, it'll already just go down anyway. So this is the time for you to reload, so you have full 150 ammo, so that way you get into the fight with maximum power. Then we all go left, I guess. Focusing May was good there, but she had no cooldown. Doomfist just kinda almost pushed her to safety. So they messed up a wall, it didn't get value, and that's kind of what ends up happening if they don't already have Blizzard. So that was good. Now would be a good time to press tab, by the way. I don't think you pressed tab yet since the game started. Oh, there we go. Good job, player. Okay, so they went off of May. I don't know how long they were on the rest of those heroes, actually. But I'm going to assume that they're going to be working with some support ults. Because we didn't run into any in the last fight. It's been at least 2 fights. You don't have ult. That's so hard to push now. You could do it with Valkyrie though. You want to be careful about pushing these corridors as Orisa, because once you make your shield, you're kind of just saying this is as far as I'll go until you fortify. Like going for this is fine, like this halt to try and like pull some people for hog, but you're going a little bit too far. Like right now you're not doing anything that you wouldn't just do from sitting right next to your shield, and then you get shot and it forces your fortify, and now it's a lot harder to push out. Like if your Mercy doesn't Valkyrie here, or if just they decide to all 6-man be up here and they want to push you, you're in a lot more trouble just because you walked up farther than you needed to. But they're not all up here, and there's their trance. There's their Deadeye. That's okay, there's Diva Bomb. See what the team can do. Probably not much. Alright, and they're holding tab. Oh, and they went to Widow. Okay, so this is no ult. That was McCree. This is no ult. And Mora, I don't think she's ulted yet. So she has ult. Diva's no ult. Tracer's gonna get ult whenever she wants. I assume Bongo's gonna come up too. So you could reason that on your own, so you know what's coming up, and you could see that the only ult you're really gonna have is a pulse bomb. So you know that this next fight, and like maybe you get Bongo too, but it's not going to be a fight that you're going to win. So you should already be in the mindset that your next fight, maybe even your next 2 fights, are going to be for the macro game, not for the win. Unless, of course, the team throws, which is something that still happens. Which is better, drop into point immediately or staying high ground? In this situation, you want to, the reason why you want to take high ground really is for your DPSs really, and to deny their high ground heroes from having this control. Like right now McCree is on the ground instead of being up here, and that's better for the attacking team. It still goes bad because they use a billion ults, but if the attacking team went middle, they would not have to use this many ults in order to defend, because the attacking team took high ground. And how long you stay on high ground is kind of dependent on like how the fight is going. Waiting for team to regroup. Very good.
Watch the Widow sightline. She's made up top on the bridge.
We saw the Widow. Okay, the Widow was on the platform in the middle, never mind. Thought I saw that from the window. Like close to the window. That shield's fine. Tracer still dies though. It's sad. Well, you can't really fight here, but you're kind of still doing your job, which is building ult. You're gonna get to a point though where it's not efficient for you to build ult anymore. Your team going out and getting picked is not really in your control. I was going to say that if Widow was... I thought Widow was shooting like from this window or this window, but she's like way in the back platform, I believe. Or on the high ground on the left. If she was closer to the ground, I would probably make the shield like right here and force Widow to go away until like, and then after that you would push up. That makes sense. The hold on Orisa was nice, but she had fortify, but it forced her fortify. So you went a little too hard here anyway. Now first off, your team's dead. You're down your Mercy. Well, Mercy's about to res and then go down. You're down Tracer at the moment. So you don't want to like fight here, but when you force Orisa's fortify here, usually what I do when I like playing Orisa fights is that once you force the fortify, that's your time to walk back, get your cooldowns back, reload, and then when the fight resets, you make an aggro push and then you use your fortify because their Orisa won't have it. And then it's like a free win. But what you do here is that, let's say that even if like your Tracer wasn't off and your Mercy isn't busy rezzing, you go in here and you're taking pocketed Orisa, double pocket, with Fortify still up, and you're going out exposed when you have less pocketing resources on your team. Because I believe you're on Lucio Mercy, judging by that. If I recall. So you're not going to win in like the headshot duel unless you have Fortify and she doesn't. That's the only way that you kill her. So you going after Orisa here is really negative, and it forces you to Fortify, or just run actually, because you already used Fortify. But now you're really low, and your Mercy is dead, but there is a universe here where if you saved all of your health and you still had Fortify, and assuming that your Tracer and Mercy didn't die over here, you could push in here and take full control of the high ground. You might not kill them, but if you have halt, you could probably kill Orisa if she chooses to stay on high ground. But after she used her Fortify and maybe her shield, once you walk in with Fortify and make a new shield that overpowers hers, you could halt her to keep her there and then your team kills her, or she gives it up and walks away if she's a good Orisa. But of course, those decisions change when your Tracer and Mercy die. But you weren't even playing around that.
Tracer behind.
You love it when I make you realize how hard you throw. You didn't throw. It's just like micro misplays that ultimately didn't punish you. Oh, it's fine. This shield doesn't actually. This is an aggro shield. I guess it's okay because we're sound barriering. I say it's an aggro shield because it goes past Orisa's other shield. But they're all moving away anyway. You need to. Okay, so you see a trance. Your instant gut reaction should be reload and reposition because you have a bongo that you need to play. So by the time this trance is over, you're going to have Fortify and you're going to have your barrier. So, oops. So in that time, you need to just find the place to bongo. Because right now, no one's going to die. And like, oh my god. Okay. So there's two reasons why you do this. Because like your team is up in this fight, right? You sound barrier in. I don't see what other ults you have. You got the pick on a healer, which is really nice. I think you went too far forward. You're not positioning with the idea that you have a bongo here. It's also a shame that you halt here. I don't blame you for it though. Like here you reload, you get on point. I think instead of dropping like this close, you drop over in like this range. You should probably drop out here. Because you need to have distance. And I think the Widow is still on the high ground. You need to be ready to halt her. You need to be ready to halt anyone who takes high ground positioning because that Widow sticks to high ground a lot from the looks of it. You really like, yeah, she's still up there. You need to halt that. You even if it just forces her grapple, then that's worth something. But right now you can't even threaten her. But in the other universe where you drop, if you drop around here and you shield here, when trance goes down, here, this is trance. When trance goes down, you'll be positioned here. You can reload. You could wait for bongo. You could make your bongo after it's over. And then when you see Widow still up here, you halt her down, and then you kill her with your bongo supercharged damage. And then this goes a lot better. And Diva will have a lot harder time killing your bongo because, you know, you're not directly in front of her, if that makes sense. But doing such a close proximity bongo is really risky. Also, you know, doing it while Trance is alive. Like, this is a good way to focus down, like, the Diva, because, like, she is going to take damage when bongo is out. But it's not reliable. And of course, just one bad thing goes down. You need more value from the bongo. The Widow actually died to a Riptire. That's kind of sad. The Riptire probably should have went for something more important. I think reloading with 130 out of 150 ammo is unnecessary. The 20 bullets can amount to something, but shooting during a transcendence doesn't amount to anything. So there's no reason not to. Especially if you're planning on repositioning, because that means you're not going to be shooting. And if you're not shooting, and you don't have ammo missing, you might as well reload.
We probably just go main.
Now we're on Winston, by the way, which I just now realized. That's okay. Just dive, it works. That everyone after this happens. It wasn't even the dive that did it, it's just Widow got fixed. Now they're on May. Gotta force their cooldowns. You gotta deal with the bongo. Well, your team might already be dealing with it. Yeah. Focus on Lucio's a good choice. Don't use your jump until there you go. This is where it gets spooky. I don't blame you for saving ult here. Yeah, not looking too good. That's a shame. So, we got more ults out of them though. They had more ult 2 fights in a row apparently. Good game by the way. Now the question is, wow, epilepsy warning, hello? Okay, there we go.
Going back to spawn.
Did not do that. For VODs.
Wait for Widow. So can you speed boost her?
If you hold the Widowmaker, you're just going to jump back up to high ground. But then during that time, well, first off, if you pull off the Widow with a supercharger, you could just track her on the way down, and before she could even grapple away, she will die. And 2, that means she's stuck. So the next time anyone does anything to attack her, she will die. Like you're trading cooldowns, but you still get more damage out of it, or a kill. Especially if you call it out so that your team follows up on a halt.
I hear tracers.
Okay, I'm jumping up.
Let's go point, let's go point.
Going point.
Come on, Mora.
Jump on the Orisa. Slow.
Should say Mora has no fade.
Keep a bomb right in the middle.
He touched,
Genji, Genji.
Oh, good thing you had speed boost to get back up quicker.
Lucio.
Lucille. Tracer's right side. Tracer's low.
That's
Baby Diva.
you wouldn't need to jump there. You need to, yeah. Well, it's okay. You still have ult. You got another jump. Thank God before you died. Now you just want to keep him off the point.
I'm on right.
Did he just switch to Ryan? Had to think about Shatter there. I think he just switched.
We killed our healers.
That is unfortunate.
We're not.
You did mostly okay though. The only thing was you jump for a tracer here, and then you don't have jump for anything else that comes at you, like this Ryan pin. But it doesn't matter because Ryan just ended up going off of the point, so he doesn't even contest anymore. I think this sound barrier is just really early, because when the blade comes out, like no one's, I don't think anyone's in danger. Everyone's full health. I think he just heard a pulse bomb and was like, I better sound barrier, so my sound barrier will be out after someone dies from pulse bomb. Like it just, maybe he saw, actually one thing you could have done, something that I also try to do, as Winston when I'm like really trying to communicate, is you could tell your supports that you have primal and not to worry about you, because it's possible that the Lucio sound barriered because he thought you were gonna die. Probably saw you and was like, okay, no, he didn't. He just did it. But still, you would try if you wanted to be optimal, because he could make that mistake. But no, he just sound barriered out of nowhere.
I'm on right.
But we could pretend that he sound barriered because he thought you were in danger and you didn't assure the team that, you know, ult was going to save you. Sometimes it matters. It didn't this time though. You just needed the barrier for the blade. But we got an extra tick.
she might have a pulse bomb. Watch her back.
Yeah, I think so.
Any percentage is worth thumping here.
Get up, get up.
They're not on point. Oh, they are.
Mate 60 went out.
That was a
He killed our Lucio.
big dive.
One more, she's below. More one.
Unfortunate.
Watch out, she
You
might have
kind of
pulse bomb. Watch her back.
put yourself in a lonely spot immediately.
We need to get up right now.
I think this is the kind of thing where it's like you probably don't need to jump.
Watch her back.
Like you have Diva next to you, you have Lucio. I'm pretty sure you guys can just matrix your way in, which is like if Diva got here with no damage, I think you would get here with no damage if she's matrixing the incoming spam. And then you wouldn't have jump, or you wouldn't have used jump. Then you would get here on point, you would bubble, and then when they start focusing you, you could jump back to the high ground. Or maybe you could jump on the Zenyatta up here. I'm pretty sure your team would still die to the Genji anyway, but it's still the better play for you. Or maybe the jump allows you to engage on Genji, you never know. It's more optimal to think about how you can get to somewhere without having to use jump, because the jump is a very, very valuable skill. Because that's their cue to focus you, basically.
Switching sides. Prepare your defenses.
I'm not playing healer this
Select your
round.
hero.
I'm not playing healer, you play healer.
Was my
Attackers incoming.
Oh, look, you're doing that shield, nice.
I'm gonna play dive again.
Good shield for Widow.
I'm taking care of
Hey, Tari, wait, did I? Oh yeah, I have coffee.
One. Attackers incoming. Defend objective A.
Good dive, dive.
Can you Discord? Nice, good job. Kiss your Discord? Oh, I gotta play more careful, man.
Alright, shield stacking good.
Diva, get out of
Team already got kills.
Diva Discord?
Finish reloading first. I wouldn't even make the shield this far. It doesn't matter now, but for the shield stack it does matter, because now you want your shield to be here, but you can't shield stack it. You would want to just finish your reload and then shoot your shield up.
Winston jumped in.
Because now, here they come in, but you didn't have your shield immediately, so what if they dived you?
Winston jumped in.
You wanted to shield Diva rockets without having to use Fortify or something.
You don't want.
Monkey. Genji's on me in the back. Oh my fuck.
Is that low main?
I need to ask, I know you doubled Hearthstone, but I tried Shadowverse. Nah.
Kisser up top, behind us.
Monkey race to jump.
So,
Kisser behind us, up top, Kisser up top, behind us.
it doesn't... It's hard to say, like, this is the reason why you lose, of course. But the best thing, like, the only good, consistent way I've found of, like, carrying a fight on this point on defense is just getting a halt that disrupts their entire dive. And you, like, get distracted by a butterfly, which is Tracer. You're looking for Tracer.
Winston jumped
Then they come in, they dive your Zen, which is kind of up to your Diva to Matrix, but after that, if you halt their whole team, or at least halt half of them, you can get more value, and the halt is like kind of already too late, and some of them are in the bubble. Like, you legit just want to be at the choke. Like, the best thing you could do is force Monkey's bubble. Like, if you could play at the choke, find Winston, like, here you hear him jump. You hear him jump. So if you could peek up, get a halt on Monkey, and shoot him before he dives in and forces bubble, that kind of just ruins the whole plan for another 10 seconds. And then Tracer has to figure out what to do when he's playing in the back line.
Genji's on me in the back. Oh my fuck.
Is that low main? He's alone.
Low main, low. Only, like...
Kisser up top, behind us.
This is why also sometimes I just try to focus on the front line. Another thing you probably could have done, depending on what other supports they have, is just focus the back line and try to hold the line. Like right now, they have a Zen. I just now see. Bleh.
You don't want.
That is a Zen, right? Or was it Mora? Yeah, they have a Zen. When the tanks dive and the Genji dives, if you just stay at the choke and you ignore them, you could just try to hold the line and divide the healers from the team. Because you could just one-shot kill the Zen if you get a good halt on him. And if the Mora isn't looking at Zen, then the Zen's dead. So that's like an alternative play if you can't get the halt on Monkey. That's about the best you can do. But against dive, I'm starting to think like holding on the point may be better. But then you can't do like the choke control, and choke control is really good. So it's probably not just entirely up to you. Won't you get stuck at the mini house? Yeah. That's the... what the heck? Oh. Like, here's the thing. I don't know if you get stuck at the mini house, is it just the side effect of the team losing the fight as a whole? Or is it actually the reason why it's over? Because if you do play there and you do stop the supports and your team does everything else right, then maybe you did the right thing. I don't know. It's hard to say. I'd have to think about it and play more games. Because there's definitely value in holding that choke, even against dive. Oh, you had Den finish reload. You could have killed Zen. Like, here you reload, and you make your shield fine. Like, it's fine for you to make your shield, but you need to hold on to your halt. You need the discipline to just not throw halt until you're finished reloading. Which, I think it's when... how do you say it? When this little circle here gets full, I think that's when it happens. We could actually take a look at it frame by frame, dude. Okay, so it's like even before that. So when the circle gets to like right here, apparently that's when it's your bullets are loaded. Then you could throw your halt. Then you could kill the Zen. Yeah, this was just mechanical misplay. I don't know if it would save this fight, but you definitely could have killed Zen. He's totally free with D.Va mech. Then that's minus discords, minus harmony, then this whole fight could be stalled out for a win. Questioning the decision to jump to point for a solo tracer on point. I mean, on the defense? How did it go? Question, you mean like because their tracer is out here, so the other team wants to jump point? Is that what you're saying? I mean, the team just kind of gets surrounded because of the tracer. The tracer ended up flanking Zen. I think if you really want to win this, the way you have to shot call it is say, hey, there's a tracer, but we can't all put our attention to her. Just tell your D.Va to be like, hey, tracer's going to try to flank to kill Zen, probably, and the rest of the team is going to dive it. We need to matrix our Zen. Meanwhile, the Orisa, will stay here, hold the line, prevent their supports from getting any value, and then the rest of us will just melt the tanks and stuff who are trying to dive. That's probably the best you could do, I think, once you're surrounded. Because here's the thing, if you're against dive and you all head up on the point because you know you're surrounded, you're just going to lose eventually anyway. You have to like hard outplay it. Because once dive has like a tracer here, a monkey D.Va here, a Zen up on this little platform, and like Mora just like inside doing whatever she wants to the tanks without you being able to contest her, it's already over. Like, dive has to fight for position. So I don't know if it's really the right call to let him have position. Which is why I would say keep holding the choke. But I don't know. Orisa can aim better than you. Well, you were behind a shield, weren't you? In this fight, holding up here, fine. Dropping down, fine. Ulting monkey, fine. Focusing Diva, good. Trying to kill baby Diva, I feel your pain. You could have tried to halt her to kill her. Then you hopefully reload here. You definitely kill this Zen because you aim up and then you aim down and then he's dead. And then he doesn't do this. And then you would still have most of your health. And then you would stall and survive long enough. Mercy would probably just heal you instead of going for this. And then you would probably hold point.
I'm ulting, I'm ulting. Stay ulting, stay ulting, stay ulting, stay ulting.
Tracer no recall.
Tracer, Discord?
Tracer no more blinks.
One. Genji, Genji.
Looks like we're holding point anyway because 2 CP.
I'm going more. I can't
Nice.
survive if I die. We're gonna be,
So now's a good time to hold tab. Hey.
Should I switch to back?
You're literally the first person I've VOD reviewed where every time I say it's time to hold tab, they actually do it. Ooh. Oh. Matt Wash, thank you, dude, for the resub, dude. I should maybe have those muted for these VODs since they could potentially go on YouTube. I mean, it'll show in the thing still, but you know, still learning how to do it this way. Top 500 tab skills, actually, yes.
Back to Orisa, or should we just do defensive dive? Anti-dive?
This is fine, I think.
Okay, Genji top right.
So now that you held tab, I should probably look at what you saw.
We're gonna be a bit more careful. We don't have a defensive ult now.
Switch. He didn't switch. Okay, so still on dive. No changes. Wait, what did your team have?
More careful. We don't have a defensive ult now.
Okay, you're not working with much.
Should I switch to back to Orisa, or should we just do defensive
But
dive?
still on defense, and being on defense on 2 CP map is worth like 2 ultimates.
Top right.
Going middle again.
You go in middle. So this right here is where I think you want to try to jump, but you don't. You shouldn't. Like, whenever you can, you want to try to look for spots where you can just walk up and then drop down. Because then you still have your jump. Because what could happen is maybe you want to jump Mora. If you jump Mora, she fades, then your round open and you force your bubble, and then your team doesn't get it, and then it's bad. You jump on Genji, he dashes. You jump on Diva, she jumps. You jump on Monkey, like, all that stuff could happen. Because right now, look at them. They went on the point and they didn't use their jump cooldowns. They just walked. That's what they want to do. So for you to match that kind of cooldown management, you have to do the same. So when Genji comes up here and is being attacked, you have the room to walk up here. And I believe Zen is shooting orbs through... Zen's right here. You could probably just go get Zen by walking to him.
I'm jumping in Mora.
I don't think you know Zen. Okay, so here you did the thing. Okay, I'm pretty sure Zen is literally right here, by the way. I think you could go get him. But let's say Zen isn't here, because I would imagine Zen would be like somewhere inside of the main hall. Or something. But if Zen was in here, you would want to drop from here, from this platform on there, and then attack him. And if you can't kill him, you could jump away. Or if you can, you kill him, then you jump away. Or if the rest of their team stays here, like you jump onto Mora, you force her to fade, then she fades, then you jump on her, then you kill her. All that is better than this, because now you just jumped onto 3 different people, all of which have their jump cooldowns. And now what's probably going to happen is that you're going to be stuck around here, shooting something for a while, then they jump, then you force barrier, and then they're all around you, and then you're surrounded, and then it's going to be up to your team to see what happens. Also, if the Zen saw you jump, he could have discorded you right now. So now you're stuck in your bubble.
Genji trap. Nice.
Oh, nice,
Nice.
And but Tracer got a stick, so it's kind of okay. You didn't also jump away to anywhere important. Like you could do all this and this is fine, but then when you have your jump, you have to like think like what are you gonna do? Also, does Genji have dash?
Nice. Nice.
Doesn't matter because he dies. After this though, I think you actually dropped a bridge.
Nice.
Because when you make this jump, I don't think you're thinking in the future. I think you just see Genji and you think must kill Genji. And like focusing on Genji and Zen here is nice, but you don't have your bubble anymore. So you have to think, what do you do now? Your next move after jumping to bridge and harassing Genji needs to be go underground for the health kit. And then your next jump, you will have bubble. And then you could attack someone else more aggressively.
Nice. Nice.
But instead, you just keep fighting as if you still had jump and bubble and health, which you didn't. Because you going back on the point, you could stall, you could primal, you'd probably get discorded and melted, but it's better than, being dead here. This looks like the end of our story. So that was a potentially, like, winnable fight. You were down in a lot of ults. Like, that is true. But this fight was potentially doable. Especially if you, like, attack the Zen that's, like, right next to you behind this wall. I just don't think you noticed, but...
Middle again.
He's either here or he's, like, out of this window. So he has to be pretty much alone right now. I think he's shooting from outside. Because he shows up in the, he shows up in main, so he's totally alone. He just didn't attack anyone vulnerable ever. Like, this pulse bomb that got 2 was just really fortunate. But it shouldn't have really happened. But that Zen was alone this whole time, and he doesn't have anyone defending him. So you would go and kill him, and then you could primal rage on point, then you could stall, then your team could come back, and then you, like, potentially win that fight, and they used all their ults. And then, things would be good. So, as far as Orisa goes, I think it's... What you need to work on, first off, work on your reloading mechanics. Which is, like, being able to reload and waiting for your reload to finish loading the bullets before using an ability, because that's really important. Have foresight on your bongo, because like that fight where you like went too far forward when you wanted to bongo and you really shouldn't have. This one right here, you were positioned way too close. You could have even bongoed from the high ground instead of dropping. That is an alternate play, especially after you have a win or you have a pick. You could just drop a bongo like right here, especially if the other team moves back. Like, you start actually getting capture progress, so they're not on point, or they have no one that'll do anything about it. Just plop the bongo here. You don't even need to shield it. And then just focus the chokes, because they'll either be distracted with it, and then you kill them, or, nothing. Because, like, that diva used her self-destruct, too. But if you're expecting a trance, then you just wait. And for Winston, you just need like the jump foresight. But your target focus is like good enough. I think all the other stuff is just like chasing butterflies. Or not being aware of things that you should have been aware of, like the Zen's positioning. Like with this last fight, you should be thinking before every fight, what do I have to do? Who do I have to focus? Like, the only time you want to focus people who have jumps is when they don't have their jump cooldown. And the Zen obviously never does, so, you should be hunting them down like it's your mission, because it kind of is.
This is fine, I think.
Like, if the rest of your team here, like, look at this squad. You have 2 pocket healers, a Reaper, and a Diva. Your team should be able to survive on point as long as there's no Discord orbing. So if you're dealing with Zen, then everything's gonna be fine. The butterflies are pretty. I know. I know.
Again.
Anyway, I think that's what explain. Or I think that would help you. I think you get it. Do you have any other questions, Chersith, or anybody else? And I need to learn. I came to the right place, dude. Why numpad 1? Oh my god, you wait, what? I think these might be mouse buttons. How do you focus on the game? If you're having like attention problems, like, I mean, Chersith, I wouldn't put ADHD past you, just knowing you. So, you might need external help with that. But as far as, I mean, I have ADHD as well. So for me, I don't know what, they're mouse buttons? Yeah, I figured that they were mouse buttons. The way that it works for me is that as long as something is so, like, mentally stimulating that it requires all my attention, then I can pay attention to, like, Overwatch. But even then, I forget to do things like, I don't know, remember what ults were just used 10 seconds ago. And that's still a lack of attention. But as far as, like, how do you get better at paying attention? You have to, like, drill it to the point where, like, you're mad at yourself when you don't do it. And you need, like, a constant reminder system. Like, what I used to do back in Aurora when I was scrimming and I was still dealing with ADHD. Literally, my second monitor, I would just have a giant text file. It would just say, pay attention. And that's all it would have on the other monitor, because obviously I didn't want anything else on my monitor to distract me. But I would just be playing and playing and screaming, talking to the team, then I would look over and be like, pay attention. I've also heard, and this is like really kind of creepy, but if you have eyes, like you could put googly eyes, like, you know those googly eyes that you put on everything? If you just have them on your wall so you're being watched, your mind thinks that you're being watched, so it makes you think that you need to focus and pay more attention and not slack off. It's a psychological thing. That's probably not a thing I could recommend because I never tried it, but I've been told that that helps. But yeah, if there's no like great answer if you're actually dealing with ADHD other than, you know, try to get some medication. Don't do that because I'm also an anxious mess and rather keep ADHD making gold silver. I understand. Alright.